Santhish Study Circle. Today we are going on a time travel adventure to ancient India to understand how massive empires were born. But before we dive in, let's start with the big questions. First, what is an empire? Second, how did empires rise and shape Indian civilization? Third, what factors facilitated the transition from kingdoms to empires? Fourth, what was life like from the 6th to the 2nd century BCE? Bhavishya and Dhruv were thrilled. They had just activated their new device, Itihasa, a time machine to travel to the past. Taking clue from their history lesson, they decided to visit Pataliputra for their first journey.
Dhruv, look! The time machine actually worked! Wow, Bhavisha, this is incredible!
They knew it was about the same location as modern-day Patna. Landing on the outskirts of the great city, a little dicey, they saw a girl talking to a person on horseback, dressed in strange clothes. As he left, she turned to them and they asked her for her name. My name is Aira, daughter of Kanahadas the ironsmith. Welcome to Pataliputra. Glad to meet you. Aira, our names are Bhavishya and Dhruv. Keep your voices down. Do you see those soldiers marching past? They are heading to battle against a neighboring kingdom that has been troubling us. Our king avoids war when he can, but he also protects his people when needed. My father helped forge many of the swords they carry, and my uncle is one of the soldiers in the group. I just came to see him off. I don't know when he will return. The group watches as an impressive procession of soldiers crosses a sturdy drawbridge leading out of the city. Some of horseback and the army chiefs on elephant back. Then the three children cross the same drawbridge to enter the city. What kind of bridge is this? Asked Bhavishya. And is it a river below? This bridge keeps us safe, explained Aira. It's lifted whenever there is a danger of attack on the city. And no, it's not a river, it is a moat. Once the drawbridge is lifted, it makes it more difficult to approach the fortifications. Can you see those hills and forests in the distance? They provide us with timber, herbs, and many other valuable resources. Elephants for the army are also captured from the forest and trained for the army. What is the opening in that hill? Asked Dhruv. It's a cave. Our king is getting it carved out for a community of monks. I hope we can visit it when it's finished. As they move through Pataliputra, they take in its splendor. Towering wooden ramparts with watchtowers, majestic palaces and buildings, lively streets. Aira gestures towards a bustling market filled with traders from distant lands. You must visit our main market before you leave. Our king welcomes travelers from all over. So you will get a silk from China, spices and gems from the south, fine clothes from different regions. There is nothing you won't find in Pataliputra. What are those people over there doing? Asked Dhruv. Oh, these are street acrobats. They build human pyramids, sing and dance or act in short plays to entertain people. Sometimes they perform in front of the king. Your king sounds very powerful, remarked Bhavishya. Does he rule the region around Pataliputra? Much more than that, answered Aira. He rules over a vast land, far beyond this city. His authority extends over many villages, towns, and kingdoms. My uncle told me that it takes close to 2 months on horseback to reach the borders of the territory. That sounds bigger than just a kingdom. What do you call it? It is called an empire, Aira stated with evident pride. What is an empire? First things first. What exactly is an empire? The word empire comes from a Latin word imperium, which simply means supreme power. Think of it like this. An empire is a huge collection of smaller kingdoms and lands all controlled by one very powerful ruler called the emperor. The emperor didn't just rule his own city, he ruled over many smaller kings. These smaller kings were allowed to keep governing their areas, but they had to show loyalty to the emperor. They did this by becoming tributaries. This means they paid tribute to the emperor by giving him money, gold, grains, elephants, or other valuable items to show their respect and submission. In ancient Sanskrit, an emperor was called grand names like a Samraj, Lord of all, or Raja, King of Kings. Features of an empire. Ruling an empire is not an easy job because empires were so vast. They included many different people speaking different languages and following different customs. To keep everything running smoothly, an emperor had to do a few big things. First, he had to maintain a massive trained army to protect the borders and control the smaller kingdoms. Second, he had to set up a strong administration with officials to collect taxes and keep law and order. Third, he had to control important resources like mines, forests, and farms. Fourth, he built roads and controlled rivers so people and goods could move easily. Kings wanted to build empires because it gave them great wealth, military strength, and the power to be remembered forever. Trade routes, and guilds. Keeping a huge army, faith, and armed costs a lot of money. So, how did the empires pay for it all? The secret was trade. By controlling roads and rivers, rulers could increase trade. Traders bought and sold things like beautiful textiles, spices, gems, and farm crops. To make a business easier, these traders and craftsmen formed groups called guilds or shrines. Guilds were amazing because traders stopped fighting as competitors and started working as a team. They shared information about markets and supplies. These guilds were so powerful that they made their own rules, and the kings usually left them alone to do their business. The rise of Magadha. Now, let's talk about a specific place that became incredibly powerful between the 6th and 4th centuries BCE, Magadha. Magadha was located in modern-day South Bihar. Why did Magadha become so strong? It was all about geography. Magadha was in the Ganga plains, which meant the land was very fertile for growing food. They also had thick forests full of timber and elephants for their army. Most importantly, they had iron. With strong iron plows, they grew more food. With sharp iron weapons, their army became unstoppable. Later on, a king named Mahapadmananda took over and made Magadha even bigger, creating the Nanda dynasty. He was very rich and had a huge army. But the last Nanda king, Dhanananda, was very cruel to his people, which made him very unpopular. The arrival of the Greeks. While Magadha was growing in the east, something crazy was happening in the northwest. A young, powerful Greek king named Alexander the Great had just conquered the massive Persian Empire. Alexander wanted to conquer the whole world, so he marched his army right into India. He fought a famous battle against an Indian king named Porus in the Punjab region and defeated him. But Alexander's soldiers were exhausted, homesick, and terrified of going further into India. So they forced Alexander to turn back. Before he left, Alexander met some wise Indian sages called gymnosophists or naked philosophers. Alexander loved asking them tricky riddles, and their smart answers impressed him so much that he spared their lives. Alexander sadly died on his way back home, but his arrival opened the doors for Greek and Indian culture to mix. That is, for part 1, we have seen how empires are born and how the Greeks arrived. Join me in part 2, where we will meet one of India's greatest empires, the Mauryas. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share Santhish Study Circle. This is Santhish signing out.